Love and peace to you. This is a verbal discourse on our Welt Ethos. My name is Peter Johansson Osisi, and I work with our Sona Ashram. So this is an introduction to some teachings from Islam and the Quran regarding the principle of Haya, the fourth principle within our Welt Ethos. Haya meaning modesty, and with the application or the context in the context of sexual ethics. So, within the Quran, there is a narrative of creation that is shared within Christianity and Judaism as well, that describes the creation of man, of humanity, as well as the creation of the universe. And within this, there is the relationship, the description of the primordial relationship between man and a woman. And this being a foundation for the institution of marriage, and this institution of marriage being a primordial means of a fundamental quintessential facilitator of procreation, and so the institution of marriage between a man and a woman is shared in that manner. And the Quran teaches modesty and discipline and celibacy outside of marriage. So marriage, sexual intercourse is to only be practiced within the bond of marriage, and this is direct, explicit, and repeatedly taught within the Quran. Without question. And so there's the description of how the violation of that principle, the committing adultery, having sex outside of marriage, how that has significant deteriorating effects upon society, upon an individual, and additionally. And so for the sake of the sanctity of relationships within society, and the strength of society, and the community, the village, individuals are guided to have to be married and to exclusively have sexual interaction within that bond of marriage. And this is conveyed within Surah 4, 1 y 3 a 4. Surah 4, verse 1 and 3 through 4. This reads, O people, keep your duty to your Lord, who created you from a single being and created its mate of the same kind, and spread from these two many men and women. And keep your duty to Allah, by whom you demand one of another your rights, and to the ties of relationship. Surely Allah is ever a watcher over you. And if you fear that you cannot do justice to orphans, marry such women as seem benevolent to you, 2 or 3 or 4. But if you fear that you will not do justice, then marry only one, or that which your right hands possess. This is more proper, that you may not do injustice. And give women their dowries as a free gift. But if they of themselves be pleased to give you a portion thereof, consume it with enjoyment and pleasure. That is Surah 4, 1, 3 a 4. So again, there is the explicit teaching of marriage, to be married, and the description of how marriage provides discipline and guidance towards propriety, and to avoid transgressions and indulgent, lascivious behavior. It strengthens the bonds, the ties, the relationships within family, between the husband and wife, amongst additionally throughout families and throughout villages and societies. And so within Islam, there's the propensity of a man having multiple wives, but there's also the explicit teaching that it is beneficial to have simply one wife. And in this relationship, There's mutuality, and each has his and her rights and responsibilities within the bond of marriage, and all of that goes towards promoting, again, the health of the relationship of the marriage, but also the health of the relationships within the family and the village. Additionally, regarding the prohibition of adultery, there's another passage within the Quran that speaks to this. And this is Surah 17:32, Surah 17, verse 32. And go not nigh to fornication. Surely it is an obscenity, and evil is the way. That is Surah 17:32. So again, marriage is a sanctity, and a discipline. It strengthens the bonds of relationship within a community, and contrarily, contrastly, the acts of adultery detract from these relationships, and stir enmity, and derision, and animosity, and so marriage is an antidote to such tendencies. Um, and again, there are responsibilities. There are rights both for the woman and for the man within the bond of marriage. And again, modesty is a guiding principle in this interaction. And the Quran teaches to be disciplined amidst sexual passions, and how we express ourselves, and um, present ourselves to others, to encourage discipline of thought and communication indeed. And this applies both to men and to women. This principle of Haya, of modesty, and this is conveyed within the Quran in Surah 24, 30 a 31, Surah 24, verse 30 through 31. Say to the believing men that they lower their gaze and restrain sexual passions. That is purer for them. Surely Allah is aware of what they do. And say to the believing women that they lower their gaze and restrain their sexual passions, and do not display their adornment except what appears thereof. And let them wear their head coverings over their bosoms. And they should not display their adornment except to their husbands or their fathers, or their fathers of the fathers of their husbands, or their sons or the sons of their husbands, or their brothers or their brothers' sons, or their sisters' sons, or their women, or those whom their right hands possess, or guileless male servants, or the children whom know not women's nakedness. And let them not strike their feet, so that the adornment that they hide may be known. And turn to Allah, all, O believers, so that you may be successful. That is Surah 24, 30 a 31, Surah 24, verse 30 through 31. Again, there is the teaching of Haya, the principle of Haya, for both men and women. And it is equally important for men and women, but it takes on different characteristics for men and women, because men and women have different tendencies. So the overarching principle or purpose for this is, again, to strengthen the relationships within society, to facilitate and maintain cohesion, and amicability within society and the village. In addition to the sanctity that marriage provides, and the benefits within the bond between a husband and wife. So those are some teachings from the Quran and Islam regarding the principle of Haya, the fourth principle of our Welt ethos. Al-Habba Salam.